television because we don't know that someone who actually will be the workhorse, not the shoulders.
Well, and for me, and I think a lot of people, to me it's very important that somebody has principles and ethics.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I've seen that just go to the wayside with just sort of the issues that seem to predominate the local landscape, especially around here. And it just amazes me that that just goes out the window with kind of the Good Old Boys network that exists. And I'm just baffled.
No, and to me, I always go back, why is it that way? What's driving that behavior, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there's a lot of things, but I think one of the main things is, you know, I think people kind of get intoxicated on the power. And they want to stay in office, and they want to get reelected. And to me, that's really concerning. And people always say, well, how do we know you're not going to be that way? And I think there's a couple of things you can look to. One is, again, I'm not currently elected official. I'm not trying to work my way up the hierarchy. You know, I came here because I saw problems that I think I had a unique skill set to actually come and make a difference in. I've worked in DC now. I haven't held elected office back in DC, but you know, part of the reason we left DC is, you know, we've been around. We've seen that happen. You know, I've sat on panel discussions back in DC and gone to some of these dinners. And you know, when freshmen get back there, you know, they get out and they're big people, and you know, they get invited to speak and stuff. And to me, that has the allure isn't there. I don't think it's not why I'm going back. It doesn't have that appeal to me. In fact,
the social functions will not be his strong suit.
Yeah, talk to my wife. You know, I'd rather be at home with our kids. But again, why am I doing this? Because I think I care so much that we need to get this right. We really need to do it. And I'm willing to make the sacrifice, put my neck out there to do it. You know, if I don't win this election, I don't see myself running again, because again, it's this window of opportunity where we can really get stuff done. This is why I'm here. So, here's the thing: every candidate can say, "Oh, I'm not going to fall into that trap." You know, at the end of the day, you're going to have to judge.
Well, some already have. So, and I think you can draw that distinction, and I think that's key, because if there's as many people that have discussed it with that part of things as I am, and I think there are, but it's just, I'm just so encouraged to see there's 4 candidates in the race.
Yeah. I think it's healthy there's more candidates. It's helpful. So. Other questions, please.
States' rights. There are those who believe that the states, being closer to the people, can handle situations much better than the federal government. And I use it as an example, the Department of Education. What's your feeling on that?
I agree.
What would you do to say, what would you do about the Department of Education if you got back there?
Sure. I think you have to look and take away the programs. Again, it goes back to my philosophy. When we cut federal programs and federal spending and the things they're doing, you offer to the states. Okay? But a lot of things the Department of Education does, and the federal government should be doing, and the states can do very well. I've heard arguments on the other side, well, but you need a central coordinating figure. No, states can band together. For example, reporting. You know, the Department of Education does a lot of reports and kind of national figures for education and stuff. Well, the states can band together, and they can, you know, hire a company to actually do that and gather the data and crunch the numbers. And you know what? If they need an interstate compact approved by the federal government, great. You know, let's let the states do that. So I think, you know, I like the idea of having 50 states who can all try their own things. They're close to the people. They can tailor to the needs better. So yeah, I honestly believe that. I think that's a direction we should head. I think that fits with the idea of that constitutionally limited government as well. So one thing I would caution though is, you know, I don't believe in going and cutting the whole department day one. You have to have a transition. I think you do it program by program, because it's the programs that you offer to the states. And you do it doesn't have to take a long time. I mean, program education is probably the easiest thing to cut back in DC, right? That's not a 5-year transition, right? That's a lot shorter on that one. But yeah, when government is closer to the people, I think it's a better government, because one, it gets people more engaged, and the needs are more visible and the remedies are more tailor-made. I honestly think because the government's taken over so much, people become lazy. You know, if these issues were debated at the state level or, you know, the local level, I think, you know, a lot more people engaged, because it's more real, there's more control. it's healthier for our system of government, citizen participation. That's good all around.
Yeah, I'd like to know a little more about your foreign policy. We talked a little bit about it, but where do you stand on Israel, Iran? I mean, do you support kind of the mainstream Republican? We need to have this big military. We need to be policing the world. Or do you support more of a peaceful, non-interventionist foreign policy?
Do we need to be policing the world? No, but we have to look out for our interests. So my foreign policy is always guided by the first question is, what is our national interest in this? Okay? That's why I say we talk about military bases. I think a lot of the justification on those bases, the Cold War and whatnot, is not there. But I'm not saying pull everyone back. There might be instances where we talk about Iran, for example. I know the situation going on there, and we might be coming to a little I'm lost for words.
Conflict?
Not a conflict, but it's getting tense. In the strait over there. And I think when you look at the Middle East, if Iran shuts down that strait, that's bad. That strait needs to be open. My concern is, though, how we got to where we are. We're relying on intelligence saying they're going to build a nuclear weapon. I want to really look at that intelligence because we've used bad intelligence to justify foreign intervention before, and you don't want to repeat that again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to really look hard. But if there's a national interest, I'm not a police of the world, but I'm also not opposed to firmly defending our national interests. My first step was always diplomacy. I don't go right to the military. I'm not that person. I think a lot can be done. Because I think when you talk about diplomacy, it also brings in not just our national security, national defense, but you talk about the economics. And, they're all related. We talk about, for example, China, main trading partner. There are economic situations there, I think, that could rise to a national security issue. And so there's an interplay between all those. And that's why I like diplomacy first, because you can kind of capture all those as you work with the countries. So, but I don't know if that helps you. And maybe, I don't know what you consider the mainstream view, but...
Well, when you watch the Republican debates, they talk about going to war with Iran, and the audience is cheering. It just seems like bloodthirsty warmongering to me.
Yeah, and that's why I say, I'm not quick to pull the trigger on war and military action. That's why I say, my first thing, I was back there, I'd go look at the intelligence game. I need to be convinced there's a legitimate national security interest.
I agree. I mean, it seems like we're seeing a lot of the same propaganda that led up to the Iraq War, which was a big lie, right? A huge mistake. And now they're feeding us this same propaganda about a nuclear weapon, right? I'm afraid we're going to get dragged into another war.
Well, that's why I said we got to learn from our history, right? Or else we're going to repeat it. So.
And it doesn't seem like the mainstream Republicans are doing that, right? By the way they're...
Yeah, but, I always think, how much is that politics? What does they really believe, For me, my position might not be mainstream Republican, and people might not like that, but that's where I stand. That's where I am. I'm not... Look, anytime we go military action, we're going to be there forever. We look at Afghanistan, we've been there forever. That's another thing if we are going to have military action,